this is how you turn it on.
No sewing, no ironing, and no glue. Now you'll qualify for the wholesale discount price of only $9. That you're right between the ears with hit clips.
Or future-proof your video collections with new combo discs of...
Everything else is obsolete.
I just bought it!
All right, let me try. No, get your own.
My kids would love it.
While talking on your cell phone. Hi, Billy Mason.
Just when you think you have the latest computer, you don't.
The current system that we have is this single stream of extract, create, use, and then waste. So you take the resources from, the environment, and then it becomes a product. You use the product, and then it's thrown away when it's broken or no longer used. There's something called planned obsolescence. Your iPhone is great. Even if you have like a model that's 4 to 5 years old, it still works. It does everything that you need it to do.
Products are designed for sale, not for long-term use. That helps with sales, but it doesn't help you with the elegance that you might have had with a better product to start with.
Usually you would want to have like the best product, and then people would buy your product and that would be it. Now we're seeing products that are made with lower quality that are meant to die out within a certain amount of time, so then you have to buy another one. That we just don't see the extraction cost and the landfill cost. Recycling isn't the shining beacon of environmentalism as it's promised to be. There's studies that show like only 9 to 10% of all recyclable materials are actually recycled. It doesn't have to be this way, but basically there's so much more than just reduce, reuse, recycle. There's repair, there's rot, there's so many different ways to help the environment. We can do something better, we can do something different. We were both in the Zero Waste Committee at Sustainable Tucson. The chair of the Zero Waste Committee at the time, he said, Rocky, Steven, go create the Tucson Repair Café, and we did. There is an international repair cafe organization. They started in the Netherlands. Now they've spread all over the world. We were the first one in Arizona. We did a pilot program with Xerocraft, which is where we still do our events. So Xerocraft is a makerspace downtown, and they just have so many tools and a great space to repair.
People are usually pessimistic because they're like, how is this gonna get fixed? And so seeing their reaction when it's like, oh my gosh, it's working again, they're just really excited.
We have people come in, and if you fix something, they'll say, oh, thank you, for fixing it. And I always say, thank you for bringing it in. You gave us something to play with.
So I discovered the Repair Cafe when I was living in Toulouse, France. And I went to several of their meetups and volunteered, which was super cool. But then I kind of suddenly moved back here, and I wanted to start it up, so I was kind of looking for who to talk to in the city.
I'd never really heard of a repair cafe till I moved here about 3 years ago and started working with them maybe 2.5 years ago. And it's a great idea.
So I moved back here in September of 2021, and by November, I think 13th, we were able to have our first event.
On our website, we have a pre-arrival instructions thing that you can look at to make sure that you have the most successful time coming to the Repair Cafe. Oh, look at that.
And heat.
Oh, it feels great. The things that are locked behind proprietary hardware and software, that's really hard for us to fix. If people can find a guide or a manual or a tutorial, that really helps because the internet is a fantastic resource. We track the weight of the item so we know how much weight we're taking out of the landfill, and then the price of it to replace so we know how much we're saving. And then we assign you to a repairer, and then the repairer diagnoses the problem, usually takes apart your item and then fixes it in front of you. We don't like people to drop their items off because we have such a strong educational tenet as part of being a nonprofit.
I brought in a PlayStation and it was overheating. It's pretty expensive to just kind of throw out, and So I decided to try to fix it.
As soon as I heard they were doing this, I thought, this is absolutely wonderful. This is a 5 CD disc changer that I've had for God knows how long. And I was really hoping that it would be resurrected, but it's not, and we don't really know why.
I like that my son was able to sit and watch him and learn. He was able to fix it, so hopefully everything goes good.
The value in trying to get people who are bringing in items to take part, at least, in the repairs is empowering the community, trying to spread that kind of lost DIY knowledge. It's especially cool when children come and they're just like diving in with you and want to do stuff, and you're like, wow.
I hate planned obsolescence. It drives me crazy.
Society does have a waste problem, and especially for the more costly items.
The concept of just buying new and having more trash and everything else and things like this is just going to be sitting in a junk pile. And I don't like that. I'd rather keep things going when I can.
Our volunteers are the heart and soul of the organization, and they really perform.
Yeah, we can't do anything without our volunteers. We're so grateful for them because they're all just stellar engineers. They really know what they're doing.
Growing up, my dad owned a camera shop, and so we'd always have stuff around cameras or lenses. I think pretty young, I was already trying to take things apart. I did a much better job at, having lots of pieces than putting it back together. Because I worked on one sewing machine at home that I bought from a thrift store, became like the sewing machine person. People bring in really old sewing machines, and so it means a lot to them, as well as just being like a finely crafted item that they want to keep and restore.
I spent a lot of my years in business as a salesman, but I did a lot of repairs as well over the last 50 years, say so. I've always been interested in how something works. I've been very inquisitive, and I think most of the repairers here feel the same way. Since everybody here is a volunteer, to come here 4 hours every month and work on somebody else's stuff for nothing means you must love doing it.
Convenience is really the enemy of so many environmental movements. As the generations have gone on, we've walked away from get it repaired, have a high quality thing that can always be repaired, and we've walked away from that to just get a new one on Amazon. It's wonderful to be able to look at something and say, I can fix that.
One of the things that we really are hoping to tie into a local circular economy is the fact that people, number one, don't have to send things out to repair or buy new ones that are produced halfway across the world. They can use stuff locally. And then also, they have the opportunity to, I think, have a little more interesting life because they're learning skills that can apply not only to fixing an appliance, for example, but maybe to doing something to redo their home. We're hoping it leads to a more local neighborhood kind of feeling as well as the saving the environment part of it.
Hi, I'm Tom McNamara, host of Arizona Illustrated. Thank you for watching this Arizona Illustrated story here on YouTube. And if you like that one, well, here's another story we think you'll like.